Hello all. Let us now discuss about how is MySQL implemented. So in this session, I am here to explain you all about basic MySQL query commands. Firstly, what is an SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a programming language. You need to execute commands that let you create and manipulate a relational database. It is declarative programming language and is non-procedural. Coming to MySQL, MySQL is an open source relational database management system. It is one of the most widely used SQL databases due to its advantages like speed, reliability, and usability. So, what is MySQL query? MySQL query is any command that is used to retrieve the data from a table. So, what are all the uses of MySQL? MySQL can be used for querying the data, filtering data, sorting data, joining the tables, grouping data, and modifying the data. MySQL commands are further categorized into the following types, namely DDL, Data Definition Language, DML, Data Manipulation Language, DQL, Data Query Language, DCL, Data Control Language, and lastly TCL, Transaction Control Language. Let us now see each one of them in detail. The first category of MySQL query commands is DDL. DDL stands for Data Definition Language. When we perform any changes with the physical structure of the table in the database, then we need DDL commands. DDL commands include create, alter, rename, drop, truncate. Let us now see each one of them in detail. Firstly, the create statement. As its name suggests, it is used for creating entire database and database objects as tables. For example, if we want to create a table, we must abide by following syntax. Create table, table name. Employee here is the table name which we are going to create. So after creating a table, we need to add some columns to it. Next goes the alter statement, which is used when altering existing values. For example, we can use alter to modify a table by adding, removing and renaming one of the columns in the table. Sample query is like alter table, table name, add column, column name. So here we are adding a column with a specific column name. Next command is like rename. Rename the table or database name. Its sample query is like alter table, table name. Rename column, column name to new column name. So what if we want to delete a table? In that case, we can use the drop statement to do that. This removes records of a table as well as the structure of the table. Once this statement is passed, this can't be rolled back. That is, we cannot undo it. So if we need the table again, we need to create it again. So the sample query of drop statement is like drop table if exist table name, or simply you can write drop table table name. So finally, instead of deleting an entire table through drop statement, we can also remove the table records and continue to retain the structure of table. In such a situation, truncate is the DDL statement that would allow us to do that. Its sample query is like truncate table employee. After executing this command, all the records from table are deleted, but structure of the table will continue to exist. So DDL is one of the category of MySQL query commands that allows you to create, alter, rename, drop and truncate databases and their elements. Once we have created a database with its element and have loaded it with information, we are ready to step up to the next level and manipulate the data. Next comes the DML commands. As we can see, the name data manipulation language. So once the tables or databases are created, to manipulate something inside that stuff, we require DML commands. One of the main advantages of using DML commands is that in case any wrong changes happen, we can roll back or undo it. First statement in DML commands is insert statement. This statement is used to insert data into the tables. It enables us to add more records or rows while we are working with the table. This command goes hand in hand with keywords into and values. So the syntax of insert statement is like insert into table name, values, and inside the parentheses we will provide with the values whatever we need to add to the table. Next, the delete statement. The delete statement functions similar to the truncate statement, while truncate statement allows us to remove all the records contained in the table. But with delete statement we can specify precisely what we would like to be removed. So the syntax of delete statement is like delete table, table name. So next comes the update statement. It allows us to renew existing data of tables. That is, update existing records in the table. Its syntax is slightly different and is best understood with an example. Consider the query provided here. Update employee set call equal to new call where condition. Here call is the column attribute which we need to update. New call is the record which we are going to update. So if the condition is satisfied, then the record is updated. So next merge command is used to merge two rows. Next comes the DQL. DQL stands for Data Query Language. It consists of only select commands by which we can retrieve and fetch data on the basis of some conditions provided. Many classes of SQL are used with this command for retrieval of filtered data. Select command is used to retrieve data from tables. So the question is that why are we going to need just a piece of table? Imagine a table with 2 million rows. We can only see a small part of it on the screen, right? This is why it can be helpful if we could extract only specific portion of a table that satisfies given criteria. So select commands enables us to do that. It is used to fetch all the records from a table. The star after the select statement in the following query will deliver the entire content, meaning all records contained in the table. Its sample query is like select star from table. So in order to fetch all the unique values from a table, we use distinct command. Its query is like select distinct column name from table. So we are selecting here only unique column. Next, where clause. Where clause is used for giving conditions in the retrieval of records. So its query is like select employee ID from employee where name equal to Stella. So here we are fetching only that employee ID where the name is equal to the given condition. Next, count. Use it to get the number of records present in a table. Its query is like select count of star from employee. Employee is the table name. Next, order by. Use it to sort both numeric and string values either in ascending or descending manner. Its sample query is like select first name from student. Student here is the table name. Order by marks. This here indicates descending order. Here we are ordering the student name on the basis of their marks in descending order. Next comes the limit command. This is used to specify the number of records we want after executing the query. Its sample query is like select first name from student, order by marks, disk, limit 5. So here we are limiting the number of records to a value. And next, the AND command. If two conditions are given and both are met for a record, then only the query will fetch that record. Its sample query is like select employee ID from employee where name equal to Stella and city equal to Bangalore. So if the both conditions are met only, the query will fetch that data from that table. Next comes OR statement. If two conditions are given and one of them is met for a record, then that record will be fetched. Its sample query is like select employee ID from employee where department equal to IT or city equal to Bangalore. So if any one of the condition is satisfied, then the data is fetched from the record. Then comes NOT. If we specify NOT before any condition, records that are not meeting that condition will be fetched. Its sample query is like select employee ID from employee where not between 1 and 10. So here the records which are not in between 1 and 10 are fetched from the table. Next comes the between command. This operator selects records within a given range. Its sample query is like select employee ID from employee where employee ID between 1 and 10. So the ID which is in between 1 and 10 are fetched from this query. So the in operator. This operator allows us to specify multiple values in a where clause. Its sample query is like select star from employee where employee ID in 1001, 1004, 1008, 1012. So all the records having these employee ID are fetched from the table. Next, like command. This operator is used with the where clause to search for a specific pattern in a column containing a string. A followed by percentage symbol is used for searching a pattern or string that starts with A. And symbol followed by A is used for searching a pattern that ends with A. Percentage A percentage is used for searching for a string that is in having A in between the string. Underscore A percentage. Here the second letter will be A. Percentage A underscore. The second from the last letter will be A. A sample query is like select first name from table where first name like A percentage. So here we are searching for the strings starting with A. Next comes group by. This is used to segregate records on the basis of some given conditions. Its query is like select employee ID from employee group by department having salary greater than 1 lakh. So we are grouping the records on providing some conditions. And DQL provides us with many aggregate functions like sum, average, min, max, and joins like inner join, left join, right join, full outer join, etc. Next comes the DCL commands. DCL stands for Data Control Language. It contains the grant and revoke statements. These statements allows us to manage the rights users have in a database. The thing is that a database is typically used by tens or hundreds, sometimes even thousands of people of organization or company to which the database belongs. These people are called users and they don't necessarily have the same right of access to the information in the database. This is where grant and revoke comes into the play. Grant statement is used to give permissions to users. That is, it provides access to the users. Its sample query is like grant create table to user. Revoke statement is exact opposite to working of grant statement. It takes back access from the user. Its sample query is like revoke create table from user. The, the final part of MySQL syntax is TCL, Transaction Control Language. When working in real time, not every change we make to a database is saved automatically. So in order to make that happen, we use commit statement. The commit statement, it will save the changes we made permanently on the database. So the syntax of commit statement is commit. Next, the rollback statement. It allows you to undo any changes we have made. That is, it is used to cancel or undo changes made into the database. Its query is like rollback. So finally, we have seen about DDL, Data Definition Language, which is used for creation of data, and DML, Data Manipulation Language, used to manipulate the data, and DQL, Data Query Language, used for retrieving the data, and DCL, Data Control Language, used for assignment and removal of permissions to the user, and finally TCL, Transaction Control Language, for saving and restoring changes to a database. I hope this session helped you to give a overall basic idea of how MySQL query commands are implemented.